What is going on, everybody? Back with another video, and out here working yet again, trying to make things happen. Shout out to everybody who's been watching the content on the channel. Shout out to everybody who's been watching the live streams, and everybody who's been checking out the links down in the description. I really appreciate you guys. I'm just gonna get right into this because I think this is really important. Shout out to the people on TikTok. I post over there pretty much 2-3 times a day, and there are some really good discussions in the comment section that I really enjoy, and I want to bring a little bit of that over here. So I do some shorts, so you can check out the shorts. Some of them are TikToks that I do over there, and I bring them to YouTube, but the discussions over there are great. So this is one discussion that I had. Basically, I was talking about the PlayStation 6 that is rumored to have a detachable hard drive. And the detachable hard drive, to me, I think is a good thing, all things considered, even though we know what the, consequences or the caveats that come with that. So somebody in the comments was like, well, you know that either way that this detachable hard drive, you still are at risk to not having your games work via patches and updates to the hard drive and this being online and all this stuff. And it made me think, because some people was like, yeah, that's why they jump into PC. But this made me think, like, I don't think these consoles in general are built to last. And I'm not just talking about the PS5 or the PS5 detachable hard drive or that company in general. When you look at other companies as well, we have a really big issue where consoles that are like post Xbox 360, PS3, or even the Xbox 360 and PS3, those consoles aren't really built to last. Now, I know the PS3, that thing's like a tank. If you got a PS3 Slim, you're good. The fat PS3, yeah, not so much. So you already know what you're dealing with there. Do I need to start about the Xbox 360? That thing had the red ring of death, and still, some of that stuff been rectified, but you know how that went. Now, the Xbox One, not necessarily a big deal with the Xbox One, but there's one version of the console that I really was disappointed in, and I thought it was a great console. It was the Xbox One X. Now, I've heard other people have this issue as well, but there's two things that I had an issue with the Xbox One. For one, the regular Xbox One, the Wi-Fi went out on that, so I had to plug in a hard wire for the internet to work. But okay, that is what it is. But the Xbox One X, that one completely died on me. The HDMI port was dead after a few years of using it. And I don't even think it was a few years. I think it was like a year, maybe even less. And yeah, I'll probably say it was about a little bit over a year. And the HDMI port just stopped working. And I thought I was the only one that had this issue, but when I looked online, a lot of people was having an issue where the HDMI port was just not working, and it would not render in 4K. It would only show in 480p. I actually did some videos on this channel about that, and yeah, it's really unfortunate because the Xbox One X was actually a pretty solid console. So when I look at the PS4, did not have too many issues with my PS4 or PS4 Pro. I've heard some issues with it, but it is what it is. Now, when it comes to the PlayStation 5, I'm not saying that anything is wrong with these consoles, but the detachable hard drive is somewhat of a deal breaker to me. And I like it, but I don't like the fact that what it stands for. Also, the Xbox Series, I've been hearing issues about people having the same issue with the Xbox One X. And I'm not even going to get into Nintendo, because the Switch, it is fairly durable, but it is a handheld, and one of my Switches did die off after a while. And the Wii U, not even gonna talk about the Wii U either. The Wii U was like pretty bad as well as far as stability. So when you look at a lot of these consoles that's around the I ain't gonna say sixth generation, I'm sorry, the 7th generation on up, there's a lot of stability issues when it comes to these consoles. And I'm starting to think, like, well, is 20 years, is that good enough to have a console around? I know some people are like, look, as soon as the next 2K or Madden or Call of Duty comes out for the next console, I'm jumping ship. And they really don't care if the console lasts 4 years. And for some people, they just want to play 1 or 2 games on their console, which is completely fine. But I'm talking about the collectors out here. People like me who collect these consoles, and I will say all my consoles for the most part still work. I have a little shaky issue with the Wii U, and I have a shaky issue, well, I ain't gonna say shaky, the Xbox One X is pretty much dead. And my fat PS3. They're pretty much dead. So, I'm just saying, like, these consoles aren't built to last, and is that okay? Is that what it is? I know some people will probably be like, yeah, I don't care. I'll be ready to jump on the PlayStation 6 as soon as that comes out. Damn the PS5. Nobody really cares about the PS4. You know, we want the new, and that's what it's all about. But I'm just the type of person, I just love hardware and I love gaming. And this is the type of stuff that really kind of irks me a little bit. But I have come to accept the fact that a lot of these consoles, especially the last 2 or 3 generations, that they're not really built to stand the test of time like these other consoles from back then. Like, I can pop in a PS2 and I'll be fine. PlayStation 1, good. N64, especially the cartridge consoles are absolutely fine. You rarely have an issue with any console that use cartridges. So as far as the N64, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, those are just fine. But even with these hardware problems, you're still looking at an issue with having being connected to a server. And that's another thing. It's like, how long are those going to be up? You know, once everything is offline, will these consoles still work? You know, like, some games may not even work. I already know the issue with that. But sometimes these consoles are just like that as well, especially with that hard drive. I am very concerned about the hard drive, the detachable hard drive. Will that even be a thing if everything goes offline? But, some of these consoles will be around for 10, 20 years. The PS3, look at the PS3, it's still running after 2006. You can still play online with that and everything. So, like I said, 20 years from now, would it even matter? I don't know. I mean, and also, we got to talk about mortality as well. Like, look, I'm in my early 40s, and I love playing games. I've been playing games since '87, and I'm looking at it now where later on in my life, 20 years from now, I'm be in my 60s, going into my 70s, 80s, and plus. Will I still be worrying about these consoles like that? And that's why I started to think, like, how much do I want this stuff preserved? Like, does it really benefit me to keep it preserved, or will it be a situation where I would just send it off? I look at it like this. These games are fantastic. I love playing them, and I'm gonna play these games until I can't play anymore. But I do look at it from a standpoint where maybe at some point I may just send all this stuff off to a museum or just sell it all off at some point. Maybe when I'm in my late, or early, mid 60s or something, and I'm done with all of this. That's like 20 plus years from now. And I'm like, I don't want it no more. Will it even be valuable? Am I really worried about looking at that far down the road? I don't know, man. I look at other things besides gaming when it comes to that part of my life. So this is just a hobby, but it's just something to think about when you think about how long do these games really are supposed to be around, Is it something that's really supposed to be preserved forever? Or is the stability just right? All things come to an end at some point, right? Pass this down to your family members, pass this stuff down like an inheritance, or do you give it away to a museum where it be preserved? I don't know. I think that's a deeper discussion that I don't want to get into right now, but when you really look at the stability of consoles, which was the premise of this video, I don't know I just don't know how prominent that is right now. Is it really that big of a thing or a deal? Is it cool just the way it is to have detachable hard drives or other forms of the console that may not work? I don't know. This could go all over the place, or we can get into a really deep conversation about mortality in general when it comes to your hobby and what you love to do. And I don't want to get into that, but let me know what you guys think. This is pretty interesting the more I talk about it. I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions. I'm going to get up out of here. I really appreciate you guys. Check out all the other content that I have on the channel. More likely will be live tonight yet again, so hopefully you guys check that out as well. And I'll see you guys then. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. I'm out. Peace.